Hey guys, welcome back. I'm actually shocked that I have been able to keep up with the show. For some reason, I've been dreaming of starting it for over a year, and last month there was something in me that was so persistent that was like, do it right now, just do it. And so anyway, I'm really excited. I have an incredible lineup for the rest of this season. I've filmed a lot of it already. I've got some incredible interviews coming up that I'm really excited for. If you're not watching the show on YouTube and you're just listening in your car, today I am actually in a different spot. If you've ever watched the show, I'm typically literally just right over here, but pointing to the corner of my living room. But today I'm actually sitting in front of my window. It has been an absolute shitstorm outside in terms of weather in Saskatchewan this week. Wind has been 80-kilometer-an-hour winds. It's been treacherous. So I've given up. I'm sitting here hiding inside, basking in the sunshine that's coming through my window, but it's been a rough week. I've had one rescheduled shoot for next week, which is okay because experience, if you know me, is huge, and this will just be so much better for everybody. So today's episode 10, and I am shocked that we are in double digits. I'm not shocked, I'm just excited, and it's gonna be a really good one today. Before I really get into it, I just wanted to mention, if you're watching or listening to the show, whether you've been here since episode number 1 or you're just kind of finding the show now with this episode, I just wanted to say hello, and I want you to say hello. I really wanted to mainly create this podcast and this show because of community and just growing that within this industry. So if you are a listener and if you enjoy this show or have listened to previous episodes and have enjoyed those, please say hello, and whether that's in the comments or shoot over to my Instagram and send me a DM, send me an email, send me a text. All of my information is on everywhere. I really would love to hear from you and just, I guess, listen to your opinion of the show and see if maybe we could get you as a guest. And I'd love to tell your story because your story matters too. And whether you believe it will or not, your story will impact somebody in some way and connect with somebody in some way who's also in this industry, maybe in the same boat as you or just approaching those steps that you're kind of just overcoming. So that's really what the show's for. Today's actually a Wednesday. No, it's not. Today's actually a Thursday, and in 2 days, this Saturday is my first wedding of the season. So in the season of wedding season, I wanted to just take it to something that I used to look for that I think you might find helpful if you are a photographer heading into a busy wedding season. My first wedding of the season is in just a few days, and I don't really stop. I've had my wedding bag and my wedding gear tucked away for quite some time. So today I'm actually taking it all out and getting my bag ready to go and getting all of my gear ready. And I figured I might as well show you what I do to prepare, what's in my bag, and then I'll also end the episode with just some helpful mindsets heading into the season. If you are a little bit nervous, as we all are, and nerves are great, that means you care, and that means that you're growing and doing something that maybe is a little bit challenging or outside of your comfort zone, or just really excites you and you want it to be amazing like it always is. So I just wanted to remind you guys of a few things before you head into your upcoming weddings, and then, yeah, like I mentioned, show you what's in the bag. So first off, let's just start with the bag. Everything goes into this bag. It's usually the bag that I bring to the reception and pop it under a table. And it carries all my big stuff that I don't like to have on my body, or I at least can't have on my body at all times. So this has been my go-to. I've also traveled so much with this bag. I'll attach the links for everything all below, so I'm not going to spend too much time getting into it, but this is great for durability. My ADHD is off the wall. I said my ADHD is off the wall. But this bag is great, and I may be autistic also. TikTok is telling me I am, but this has been a game changer for me. I love the durability with this, so I can tuck it in an airplane, especially under my seat, and know it's not going to get squashed. And then I also have this part, and so if I don't have a lot of stuff that I need to carry with me, I can fit so much in this, but if I don't need to, I can just roll it down. And it's the handiest bag ever. I fit my tripod on the side. It holds it lengthwise with the straps. I've got my laptop cover or holder in the back. I can also show you inside, and you can arrange this like most camera bags any way you want, but it's got a little compartment here, and then I'll open up this guy, and this is my setup, and I'm going to show you how I fill the bag. So let's kind of start with just packing it with the typical gear that I will bring to a wedding. The first thing that I will always make sure I have in my bag are lens wipes and business cards. And I know it seems a little bit old school to carry around business cards, and if you don't have any, I would highly recommend you get some. You can even get business cards with barcodes now that you can like scan that takes people to your Instagram. It's wild, but I was just kind of more old school with mine and ordered them a long time ago when I first did my branding. I guess my rebrand, but I carry a couple with me because at every wedding reception, I have at least 5 people ask me, do you have a business card? What's your information? And so on my business card, I have all of my information, and I may update them because there's so many different ways that you can market now for yourself, and I think it's so advanced. And I've also updated a lot of my socials, so I'm on a lot of different platforms than just Instagram and my website. The wipes that I use are these Pyramex Perform at Your Peak lens cleaning wipes, anti-static, anti-fog formula. They're awesome. Single packet. I use it for my phone, I use it for my lenses, I use it for a lot of different things. You'll be surprised. So I'm gonna put those in my bag. All right. Second up is my flash. I use the Godox V860. I'm gonna again leave links for everything below for my exact gear. This is what I'll always pull out at receptions. This is beautiful, beautiful system for those direct flash shots that you know and love, or even just a typical soft bounce. This wind is insane. But for my diffuser, I use this guy. He's a little bubble, and it's great, and I just pop him right on top. Twist her up. My neighborhood is so busy today. And this is my little system. So with my hot shoot, I'll just pop that on top of my camera and literally bounce around like this all night long. It's so much fun. I absolutely love shooting receptions and people just in their element with their favorite people in the whole entire world, having the time of their life. I just noticed my hot shoe cover is missing. There she is. Protect your gear, you guys. Protect your gear. It matters. These little things matter, and they go a long way. This is my flash system. I will always bring this. I don't typically need it during the day, during portraits and things like that. I'll just keep this whole flash system in my big bag during the beginning portion of the day, and then during the reception, I kind of swap. And I put the gear I don't need and the gear I do need in their respective bags. So this is a beautiful little gadget. Next up is my body, and I shoot with the Sony a7C. And this was my dream camera that I upgraded to probably 3 years ago now. And I am in love with it. I'm thinking of upgrading again, but using this as my second backup body. I switched from Canon to Sony, and I talk a little bit about that in my interview with Don Jarvis in episode number 5. But I just wanted to show you guys, this is the best little body. I had a Canon before, and I do love Canon. I will not knock them ever because it was my first baby that really gave me confidence behind a camera, and I loved my Canon. And I started with a Rebel T6i or T7i. So if you are a photographer and you're just getting into weddings, I would, for backup purposes and other purposes, recommend a higher level camera, but you can do so much with a Canon Rebel kind of camera as long as you can invest in a solid lens. That would be my number one tip. So I think I shot with my Rebel for like 3 years, and I was not expecting to do that with that body, but it was just doing everything it needed to for me. Other than when I started to get into the still frame shots and I really wanted more than just the 6 that it was giving me, this camera gives me like 14 plus actually. So it's amazing and so incredibly lightweight. My flash system on top of this is massive and it's hilarious, but it works for me and I absolutely love it. So my body will go in its little bag. Next up is my lens, and when I was traveling a lot, I was so worried about my lens getting wrecked, so I ended up actually using my headphones case to really protect it outside of the case that I already put it in. Just, it was bouncing around a lot, and I was so worried about pressure and anything getting messed up. This, like I said, invest in your glass. That's like the number one thing for me in terms of gear. And what you need is, I would recommend, if you're on the fence with what to invest more in, and again, make sure the camera body actually works for the style of photography you're wanting to do. Like the Rebel was really restricting what I was wanting to create. And I think once you get to that level is when you can think, okay, time to upgrade, time to switch things up and actually get me a tool that's going to produce what I'm wanting to create. Does that make sense? So in terms of lenses, I use a prime lens. So I shoot with the Sony 35 1.8, and this is my go-to lens. You can do anything with this lens. You can shoot weddings, you can shoot boudoir, you can shoot families, as long as you know how to really work with distortion, which I don't really get a lot of, or maybe I do and I'm just so used to shooting with it, I don't know. But this has been my go-to lens, and I never switch it, I never change it. I love it. Go look at my photos, it works for me. This 35 is in there with my case, and then I'll pop that in my Beats case, and it just gives me peace of mind and keeps everything safe. So just little things are left, like my memory cards, and this is my go-to. I use the ProMaster Rugged, and it fits 6, but technically 9. You do have some space over here. That will go in my front little pouch. I've got my extra set of batteries. Got 2. Charge these bitches up. Get them ready. You're gonna need them. Promise. Don't forget that. And then, oh God, if I ever forgot this, I don't know what the hell I would do. This is my saving grace. I know I could, but I don't know how I would operate without this beast. I prefer the single harness. There are a lot of photographers who shoot with double bodies, and I think in that case, definitely go for something that makes sense for you. I don't like to have 2 bodies on me. It's too much. I like to work with what I have and really, just like I said, move around. I always will have my backup camera in this bag, which is always on site, so I will grab that. And I typically work with a second shooter, so if anything were to happen in that downtime, she can take over and I'll go grab my backup camera from the bag. That's another very important thing. Make sure you're insured, make sure you're backed up. Middle of the first dance and your camera shuts down. What do? You don't have many other options other than to look for another camera. And taking out your iPhone would be hopefully the absolute last resort. So yeah, have a backup camera and charge your batteries. This is the Rose Anvil Lone Bandit harness, and I absolutely love this thing. And there's a lot of different ways that you can, if I'll just put it on really quickly for you here. There's a lot of different things that you can attach to it and use it for, and it's leather, so it has softened up so much and nothing tugs, nothing pulls, and it hasn't stretched too much at all. My hair is typically braided or back because I have a lot of it, but when it's not, I have used harnesses in the past where my hair is constantly getting pulled out, and this doesn't do that. So I love this harness. I'm not sponsored at all, but I just really wanted to share what's working for me and what I've been using. So this is my go-to. I love that it has a little belt clip, so if I'm standing up and I need to just clip my camera somewhere where it's not going to be swinging too much, I have that option. And that's what really drew me into it, but I just love it for so many different reasons. And that's it for my gear. The body bag that I have on me at all times, this is the Wandered. And I absolutely love it. I don't know offhand. It was the 6 liter. So it's the Wandered Rogue Sling 6 liter. And a lot of people ask me what size I got. So 6 liter. And this is fantastic. It fits my flash. It fits my second body. It fits my memory cards that I kind of just have attached to this because middle of the day, I'm doing a swapsy and I need to be able to quickly navigate and swap my cards. I've got certain labels, so when I get home, I know what's what for easy culling and just a quicker post-production. So this is kind of my go-to for on me at all times during wedding party shots. I've got this bag on me. And this is typically sitting in the party bus or wherever home base is for my couple is where this guy is. I wanted to just again point to how important it is to know that you don't need every tool and everything. It's finding what works for you, finding what you like, and finding what tools are going to create the art that you're trying to produce and the stories that you're trying to tell. So wedding photographers out there, I wanted to just leave you with some tips for the mental to prevent the breakdown, if you know what I'm saying. It gets very overwhelming and very busy and very nonstop, and it's really hard to fall into a place of peace in this season. So just to leave you with a couple of mindset tips and just pieces of advice, here they are. Number one, and this is so important, just like we tell our couples, tell yourself this. The morning of this day is so important in setting the trajectory for how you're feeling, your energy. So my best piece of advice to you, and something that I will do literally 2 days before, I've already charged my gear, but get everything prepared and ready to go in your bag, set by the front door, ready to just grab the morning of. The last thing that you want to do is wake up and realize that you forgot to charge your battery, or you don't know where your memory cards are, or you realize that your lens maybe is broken and you haven't even noticed, and you're just realizing this now. I'm telling you, these are all things that I have learned from experience. So from one experienced wedding photographer to another, get your gear prepped, ready, and set for the morning of. So you can wake up and enjoy your coffee and sit in the sunshine and listen to an episode of the Creative Revival to get into the right headset for the next 12 hours. Tip number 2. This is one that I still struggle with, and I am 6 years into my wedding photography journey. You need to remind yourself you are a human being, and your couple has hired you because they love you. And if you have done the work, and if you've really taken the time to get to know your couple and to really understand who they are and how they want their kind of story to be brought to life, things they love, things they don't, all of these things, if you've done your homework, the hard part's done. Now it's just show up to the wedding and do what you do best. Do what you have been hired to do. Have fun. Be present in capturing what you're capturing. Take some time in the morning to enjoy the snacks with the bridal party, and trust yourself that you know what you're doing. As long as you are showing up with full intention and full energy and the right headspace, you are going to knock it out of the park. But don't forget to be a part of the experience, be present, and have fun, because this day goes by, as you know, very fast. My last tip that I have for you, and this is one thing that I've done since I've started shooting weddings, and this may be a hot topic, but go to the wedding rehearsal. If your couple is having a wedding rehearsal, whether it's a fancy deal or just everyone's showing up to do a quick run through of the ceremony, if there's a way for you to get in there and to show up, do it. Not only does it look great to the family members and to the wedding party and to your couple that you're taking time before the actual wedding day to show up, get a quick little idea of how the ceremony is going to go, which is also super helpful for you. But it humanizes you. You can show up in your sweats too. Let's do it. If everyone's in their comfies, you best be believing that I'm showing up in my comfies. So for me, it's one of those things that I love to be able to humanize myself before I show up. I am not just a vendor, I'm a person. And I think that makes point number 2, or tip number 2, a little bit easier to execute and to remember, because you're actually treated like a person. So these people can see you out of your element, but kind of getting ready to get into your element. They can see how much you care. They can have a few minutes to talk to you. You can take a couple of minutes to just get to know mom and dad, who's auntie, who's the maid of honor. You know, find a little second to connect with them, and that makes the next day and the next morning so much easier to just show up and just kind of get right into documenting everything that's happening. Definitely show up to the wedding rehearsal, whether you want to charge for it or just include it in your package as like an extra hour. I don't ever bring my camera, but if people are wanting coverage of the wedding rehearsal, then that's where I will charge for it and bring my camera for that hour, because our time is really valuable. It's not so much that I'm not already going to be there, because I just like to be there, but now I go home and I have to now cull through the photos and edit everything and deliver them. But when you're adding a service like that, I think it's definitely beneficial to charge for it or include it in your package and find a way to compromise with that, the value of what that would be for you. That's it. I wanted to keep this episode short and sweet for you guys. You're so much more ready than you think that you are. If you're heading into a busy season, a busy weekend, a busy week, whatever you've got going on, just take a quick minute and reassure yourself you know what you're doing. Zoom out for a minute, look at how far you've come. Think about all of the times that you've been ever super nervous about a project or nervous about a wedding or nervous about a session, and you've shown up and have just left on another level of adrenaline and excitement and joy after what you just created. Because that used to happen to me a lot. And being 7 years in, it still happens to me. I still have shoots that I'm a little bit nervous for. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, being nervous means that you give a shit. It means that you care. It means that you love what you're doing and you really want it to be as amazing as you believe it is. And I think that that goes without saying, is very normal and is a beautiful aspect into being passionate about something and being able to share that with the world in some capacity. Through our art, we get to do that. And through the creative revival here, we get to come back and connect and tell stories. So if anything, tip number 4 is take those nervous feelings, those nervous jitters. If you get the nervous poops, that's fine. I get that too. Let's be real here. Take all of that nervous energy and just find a way to turn it into something beautiful and an excited energy to come into the day with. Okay? I believe in you. You got this. If you are a part of the Creative Revival family or you are a listener to the show, I would love to, like I said, leave your comments below. I want to see your work. I want to see the stories that you're telling and the art that you're capturing. So leave your information below, and I am so excited to dive in and just get to know a little bit more about my Creative Revival family. We need to have like a name. You know how Taylor Swift has the Swifties? Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about that one. Send me any suggestions you have. For photographers in the thick of their wedding season right now or approaching it, what are you struggling with right now? I would love to hear from you on that as well and find ways that I can tap into that, and together we can just get through this season because it's going to be a busy one. It's going to be a good one. So if there's anything in terms of resources, guides, tips, anything that I can share with you, please let me know and I will get that episode together for you. And of course, last thing, anything that you can do to show me that you're enjoying the show and that you are looking forward to the next episode would mean the world to me. Getting this show in front of the right people and building the community with the right people is a really big deal for me, and that's something that I've been working really hard at doing. So your support right now would mean the world, and I could also maybe pick up some sponsors and we could make a little more noise with our stories than we are right now. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, anything you can do. I would love that. And we will see you guys in just a few days for the next episode.